welcome to another episode of Trip 101 Travel Talk series. Today, I'm speaking to a very exciting property that's located in Talking Rock, Georgia. And I'm very pleased to welcome Ben and Megan over here. A very warm welcome to the both of you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we're grateful.
So, the property that we're discussing today is Kaluna Retreat Farms and specifically about a fabulous yurt that they have. But before that, let's get to know Ben and Megan a little bit more and let's get to know Kaluna Retreat Farms also a little bit. So, over to both of you, I would like to know from you how did you become property owners and tell us a little about Kaluna Retreat Farms.
Yeah, we are blessed to be part of a family legacy property. This property has been in various forms of my family for now. My kids are the seventh generation. I got to rediscover this property in my early 20s, and it was at that point had been used as a junkyard by my grandfather, and I encountered it covered up in old cars, appliances, broken glass, household trash. People had been using it as an illegal dump also. So I had a relationship with the land as a boy. My uncle had been here before my grandfather, and he had been an original back to the lander in the 60s and 70s. And I had a fond place in my heart for the way that he stewarded it. And so when I rediscovered it in my 20s and saw it and it's just in a state where it had been highly degraded and trashed, I decided I wanted to clean it up and had a vision of being able to farm and have kids growing up here and walk barefoot and it be a peaceful place, beautiful place.
Oh, so you started that process of doing and making it less junkyard and a living space again.
Yeah, because the original settlers that we can trace back, my grandpa called the plant people, and they had planted some various trees and species here, along with building some of these cabins that were here, original log cabins. I was trying to get back to those roots. It was a huge project, but in my early 20s, I had a lot of energy to attack it and clean it up. And so we've just steady been building and growing our gardens and soils since then.
Oh wow, that's fascinating. So it has lived many lives, that land.
Yes.
Yeah. The nature of our work is that it's constantly changing, evolving, and adapting. So it's not this static project that will probably ever reach completion. Although maybe hopefully we're done with building for a minute here.
So when did you exactly start with inviting people to stay at your property?
We started hosting guests in 2017. This is our 8th season. We started with one property that we call the Bamboo Roost. And I believe 2018, the following year, is when the yurt came online, then maybe halfway through the year. In the 8 years we've been hosting, we added a portfolio of rental properties. We have 5 rental properties on the farm that all have their own unique flavor and unique amenities and just offer people different kinds of experiences here on the farm.
Wow, that's so great. So what was the whole idea behind putting together as a farm concept? You call it retreat farm. So what did you want to the guests that were coming to stay with you?
I think originally we were farmers and we were farming here and providing produce to our community. And as we began to build our family and have children, the demands of raising children on land made it so that we could no longer focus only on growing produce for our livelihood. So it was a shift to be able to remain on the land and offer something back to the community. And it's been an evolution. At one point, I had a vision that we would have a school here, a permaculture school, international in scope. And I actually went and did a project much like that in the Virgin Islands at one point in the early 2000s. So since then, we've brought in some of the components of education, and that looks like having workshops and doing retreats. We're continuing to get the infrastructure in place so that we can do more of those types of outreach.
Yeah. So who are the type of guests they will feel at home at Kaluna Retreat Farms, or should they expect when they're coming to stay with you?
We definitely have a diversity of different kinds of people that will come and stay with us. A lot of times we'll have people that have children that want to come here and experience being on land, having a more simple experience of taking walks in the woods, walking through the creek, turning over stones, looking for wildlife. We attract families and people who love nature. Locally, we have a nature park in our neighborhood. Between the 160 acres that we're on, as well as the nature park, which has, 10
200
acres and 10 to 12 miles of trails, there's a lot of exploration. People can forge their own paths. We try to create spaces where people have room to relax and to enjoy the company of those they're with. And I think we live in a world where people are overscheduled and don't take time to be present. And that's, I think, a lot of what we offer. We really encourage people to be here and be present and not just rushing to the next point on their itinerary.
Yeah, so it's an amazing place of play and relaxation. And you can go at your own speed. Our children are here. A lot of times other families bring kids. Our kids cross-pollinate and show them around the woods and their favorite places, and they play together. So it's great for families because the adults can then sometimes relax while the kids are out playing, and this is a safe space. I think they feel comfortable here, and the magic of this place allows them to relax and the kids to engage in nature. And that's something that I think a lot of people seek and want in modern times.
Yeah, so it's a place to take that pause and explore nature and spend some time with it.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
I think both of us in our young adulthood, when we got interested in farming, recognized the important quality of spending time in nature and how that is such a vital component of human life. And so if that is something that will often happen for people when they're here. And it can be a very unexpected experience that they have. We will often hear people talk about how relaxed they were here, or I slept better than I've slept in months or years. And I think that intention, right? The being intentional in the experience they have here helps facilitate that.
Yeah. So you were saying that there are 5 different types, like within your property, there are 5 types of stays one can choose from. So could you tell me more about those?
Sure.
Here we're in the yurt. This is a wooden yurt, which is a little different from most yurt offerings, which are a vinyl yurt package. This was built with a hardwood frame and is insulated like a modern home. It's spray foam, and it has radiant heating in the floor and a dome in the top. So it's a very comfy, cozy nest kind of experience here with big bean bags. We also have a farmhouse, and that was an original log cabin structure that also has one part of it is old stick frame plank construction, and it's a very old structure with double-sided fireplace, stone fireplace, and it's beautiful. We redid the floors and walls and done a lot of work to it throughout the year, and it's in its best shape of its life probably now that it's ever been. It's a beautiful space. There's another little log cabin, a story and a half. It has a bedroom upstairs, and we in the past few years added a kitchen bath onto it, and it's just really rustic. It feels like staying in a piece of history.
That's right.
It's like going back in time, staying in that space.
A lot of people that are drawn to that place and will tell us even that, oh, I've always had a dream to live in a little log cabin. So a lot of people are really particularly drawn to that cabin, especially.
And then we have the treehouse, which started out as a slide. I had a friend donate a slide to us from a playground, and then somebody donated a dock from a lake. We took the dock and figured out how to get it set up in the trees and then how to attach the slide. So it started out as a play place for my son at the time, and we were going to just make it a kid's treehouse, and then we started renting Airbnbs and having some success. So we decided to build it up and turn it into a rental. And it started as one floor, and then eventually we added a second story. And a lot of the wood that we used to build it with also came off the old cabin. So we redid the siding on the old cabin and saved what we could off of it to use on the treehouse. It's got some beautiful old heart pine on it that's weathered and old. We also have the bamboo roost, which is an apartment space above our bathhouse. And it has a main living area and then a bedroom and a half bath and a closet. The main room is all heart pine that's been oiled and for the floor and the walls. So it's just a really cozy, warm space. So yeah, those are our 5 main rentals at the moment.
Yeah. Each of those 5 have such a unique sort of personality almost to themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And one of the things that I think is important for viewers to know is that we're on 160 acres. Most of our spaces are cozy and place to be, but then the largest room on the property is the actual land itself, and being able to get out and explore and have just tons of space to be in too.
So what more, once you step outside of the yurt or the log cabin, what more is there on the property? Can I actively participate in some sort of farming activities? What can I do when I'm there?
If you're staying at the yurt, you're in the forest on this little knoll, and you walk right into the woods, and there's a fire pit on the knoll that faces the gardens. This time of year, you can sit up, look down at the yard and gardens below while having a fire, or you can walk out the back of the yurt and explore in the woods. There's old farm roads and trails back here, and it's a good place to get lost and spend time with nature. Besides that, we have gardens that we at times have workshops and classes. And that's how we try to engage our guests with the farm, or by doing guided tours. Guests are always free to roam around and enjoy the space here. And there are times where we have organized teaching events or exploratory events. And that's how we invite our guests to share with the experience that we have as living here. Because we live here full time, so they're coming in to experience. A lot of people want to experience our life and what it is to homestead. And so we try to engage people to understand what it's like to live on this land.
Sure, yeah. Hosting guests is a good window into small farm life, which could be here or many other places. So yeah, we've always enjoyed having that ability to have transparency with people and just share a bit of what happens here and what life is like here.
So a lot of times it's informal also, because we're out working and doing things, and people can walk by, ask questions, and we share what we're doing, and sometimes they jump in and sometimes they decide they'll walk on, and it's choose your own adventure a lot of times here. We did just build a commercial kitchen, so another way we're starting to engage our guests is with farm breakfasts and dinners. We're not open like a cafe with hours yet. We're still going case by case on weekends. When we have enough guests who would like to have breakfasts, we're putting together like a breakfast. And sometimes we're doing dinner parties and pizza nights. We've started so far, like a pizza and game night and some multi-course dinners. Yeah, and that's a way that we get to share what we grow here with our guests.
Sure, as well as our love for food, which is a big part of why we choose to farm. We're working on our calendar for 2025 and gearing up for a yoga brunch event, so people who are on property, as well as the local community can come in, and we have an hour-long yoga class that's facilitated by a friend of ours, and then brunch service after that. We're trying to create programs that allow people to have a full experience of what life on this land, which is very oriented to the seasons, and as we talked about earlier, is constantly changing. People come here for an event and they're getting a snapshot, just getting an opportunity to taste the flavors, the produce and products that are available right then that are the freshest.
So some of the other workshops that we'll be holding this year will be some around, one is like a gardening 101 type seed starting that Megan teaches, and she'll send people away with trays that are already seeded, and they get to go home and have the directions on how to raise these plants up and start their gardens. We'll do some fermentation workshops this year here, seasonal cooking workshops. There will be a spring plant sale where we will sell plants that are started here on the farm to our local community.
Oh wow, those are definitely all things that I am personally interested in. So if I was anywhere near you, I would definitely. I promise.
Great. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, like when you live in a city, everything related to nature is so distant from you that you really seek it out. You really have to make a effort, or something has to happen for you to become interested in it. And if you land up in a property such as yours, where it's a part of your everyday living, like I can totally understand that, like someone who's visiting, they ask you questions, what are you doing? How does it happen, and all of that. So it seems natural for you, but for somebody visiting, it can be so foreign and like new, totally new.
Yeah, we're both blessed in that we found our path early in life and knew we had a love of plants and nature at young ages. Separately, we met years later, but we both found that for ourselves. When you're young, you can put a lot of energy towards manifesting your dreams and really working hard for that. And then if you keep on the path, you refine what you do through the years, through success and failures. And we've had plenty of both along the way.
Yeah, that's really great. For guests staying with you, what are the dining options available for them? Would your kitchen be open all the time, or would they also have to stock up and do their own cooking occasionally?
Great question. We offer weekend breakfast, and then there might be certain events that are happening on property in our farm kitchen that guests are certainly welcome to participate in. That would be information that could be found more readily on our website or social media, as opposed to Airbnb, because it's hard to include all those very specific details on that particular platform. All of our spaces do have some capacity for cooking. In the wooden yurt, the kitchen is fully appointed. It has all the useful tools, basic spice cabinet, things that you need to craft a meal. There's the microwave for ease of cooking. What we offer our guests is that we do have produce and products that are available for purchase. And that doesn't look like the spread that you might see at the grocery store, because how we grow produce, how any farm grows produce, is very determined by the seasons. We post a menu of products and produce in our spaces and make sure that our guests are aware that is something that's possible. I'm always really excited to custom harvest things for our guests and stock the fridge before they get here. But we are also very close to both Jasper and Ellijay, which are maybe 15 minutes or so in either direction, north and south from us. And so local grocery stores are very accessible, and it's not difficult to acquire ingredients or things that our guests may. But yeah, not many places you can go to, although we've certainly in our travels sought out accommodations where you can get food directly from where you're staying, which is unique and probably than anybody would have access to.
Yeah, no, that's pretty great that, I have never stayed at a property where I could like get the fresh produce from directly. So that's quite something. Yeah. Talking about the town here in Talking Rock, what is the vibe of the town? How would you describe it?
It is a teeny little spot on a pretty little creek that has a lot of eccentricities about it. It has a train car, old train tracks and a train car that is a brewery, and now they just opened a little restaurant on the other end of it. There are a few old antique stores there, little kind of outdoor sports general store, and a park and a few churches. There's a potter's studio in the old post office, and it's a neat little place that people who are touring North Georgia might find themselves in to have a unique little stop. They have a heritage festival in the fall that's really interesting, and yeah, so it's a little place, but super cute. It's definitely got personality.
Sorry, I was going to say, when I opened it up on Google Maps, it informed me that it has a population of 91, and I was just I was wondering if that's just my building complex. Population of 91.
Yeah,
We are quite densely packed here.
that's probably just the Talking Rock area, because then even I would say the greater Talking Rock area is much greater than that. There's many people that I know that live in Talking Rock beyond 91.
The Talking Rock historically was that teeny little town, and now it's the area around the town and so it encompasses a lot more farmland, mountain/farmland.
So if one is staying with you, what else could they do like around you? Would there be some options to sort of dine at a restaurant? I think you were mentioning there's a national park nearby that one can explore. So I just want to know a little bit more about what is outdoors of the property itself that can be done.
Yeah, there's a lot close to here. Megan mentioned Jasper and Ellijay. They are both small towns, but have many restaurant options. Like in Ellijay, there's a restaurant that you can sit on the roof and get views of town and the mountains. And so the mountains you're starting to see there are the Cohutta Mountains and Rich Mountains, but Cohutta is the largest wilderness area east of the Mississippi River. And so it's a beautiful mountain area with a lot of water, a lot of creeks and rivers, really special place for hiking and biking. We're close to Amicalola Falls, which is also the tallest waterfall east of the Mississippi, 750 something feet, I think, tall, which it's great to go over there and hike the falls, get some good exercise. There is a trail that connects to the Appalachian Trail at Springer Mountain. We're really close to the beginning of the Appalachian Trail here. There's other little mountain trails and wineries in this county, in Pickens County, on Burnt Mountain and Sharp Top Mountain. There's a Fainting Goat Winery that has views that reach all the way to Atlanta on a clear day, and it's just gorgeous, big vistas up there. It's a beautiful place in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, where it stops, and so it's kind of undulating, steep. There's a lot of opportunity to explore rivers, creeks, wildlife areas, and waterfalls, and go trout fishing close to here. Another town within 30 minutes is Blue Ridge, and Blue Ridge is a popular mountain town escape. Carter's Lake is close. It's almost 400 feet deep with no development really on the edges of Carter's Lake. So it's a beautiful lake to go explore. There's trails all around it. You can rent boats and go out onto Carter's, and it has a beach as well. We love to help people who are looking for adventure find their adventure here. We barely touched on the wineries, but there are a lot of local wineries now. And orchards also. In Ellijay, there's a lot of orchards, and now they're making ciders. A lot of the orchards are making ciders. People are going and having cider and listening to music and riding through this countryside.
One can really have a quiet vacation with lots of walking, admiring scenery.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's peak times of year when that happens, oriented around seasons. We often see an influx of guests and travelers to this area during the summer months and fall when the leaves are changing. It's a beautiful time of year, especially with just the expansive mountainous terrain, and when the leaves start turning during the fall season is a sight to behold.
Yeah, that must be pretty cool. Is that your busiest time, the summer and seasons?
Yes. And then Throughout the year, especially during the winter season when it's a little quieter, we tend to have guests on property more on the weekends, especially.
Are your winters particularly cold, or how do the seasons change over there?
We have 4 real seasons. Winter in the last few years has not been as severe, but it has ups and downs. Usually the coldest temperature here we'll see will be 0 degrees Fahrenheit, but that doesn't happen even every 3 or 4 years. And sometimes we go without any snow, and some years we might get a dusting, or we might get 5-10 inches every now and then, but it's not a brutal winter.
Mostly it manifests as more cloud cover than anything else. We'll have windows of time where it feels like there's not as much sunlight, but the days are shorter too, so that definitely limits.
Good time to be cozy with a fire.
Yeah, exactly. And for hibernation, for us, it's a slower time on the farm and with our hospitality business, so it is just implicitly the time to rest. And I think if you look to nature, and the trees have all lost their leaves and they're all going back down into their root, right? They're telling us what we do, which is resting.
So I'm almost coming to the end of my questions with you. I want to know, if I was staying with you, what would a day that I spend at Kaluna look like? What would I get to experience?
Sure. When someone arrives, we go out of our way to welcome our guests, which is something that's very different from a lot of short-term rentals, right? A lot of times people get a code to a lockbox to get the key, and we try our best to greet every guest that comes into the heart of our farm. And I receive a lot of feedback from guests all the time about how much they appreciate that warmth, assurance, they're going where they need to go, and us welcoming them into what we do here. So.
Yeah, and I would say it's up to what you need when you get here. Some guests, we might not see much after we greet them. They may just find their cabin and need deep rest and relaxation. In the old farm cabin, there's a room I call the dream chamber. It's a place in an old log room with one teeny little window where it is really comfortable to sleep, and people just seem to sleep a lot and have really deep dreams there. But then there are guests who want to explore the area. They may leave in the morning after they get here and be gone all day and get back after dark. And they've just been out exploring, hiking, going to the wineries and going to the local mountain towns and shopping and exploring. Some people who want to stay, who have children, their kids and our kids start to integrate, and next thing we're like walking with them in the woods or showing them how we are harvesting the eggs or what projects we're working on for the day. And sometimes they want to help, so sometimes we find ways to get them to help, and there's never any pressure for that here though.
No.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people will be like, do we have to help if we're there? I'm like, oh no, not at all.
No.
And some people are really excited about that option. We are looking ahead to being able to offer more experience type opportunities for our guests. In recent time with the building phase of the commercial kitchen, that was a little out of reach for us to offer guests, but hope to have opportunities for people to tap in with certain things. One I've been playing with is the idea of a tea service. We grow a lot of medicinal herbs here for teas and herbal medicines, and having an opportunity to have their hands on harvesting some and then enjoy tea. And just opportunities like we've talked about where people, if they choose to, can tap in a little deeper to life.
That's really wonderful. I want to know, like, how does a stay with you stand out compared to other properties that are available or other kinds of options that might be available in the area? What is that something unique that you're offering?
I think that just that they're staying on an organic farm where the owners are passionate about stewardship of the place, that being us. We have a love for this land and the earth. That comes through in how we manage this place, coupled with our welcoming energy that we give people, make people feel safe and nurtured. So I think there's like this really deep nourishment that people can get from just being here for a day. A lot of times we get a lot of reviews where people are just like, this is exactly what I needed, or I feel so refreshed and I can't wait to come back. And so we get a lot of repeat guests and customers who, this is a recharge. They come here to get recharged, to go back out into the mean world, to live their fast-paced life and survive how they need to survive. But this place can offer them ability to just nourish and recharge so they can feel great going back into their life. That's something really different. I don't know that we intended that for people. It's more the magic of the place, being around people who truly love where they are and love stewarding the place. We take time to invite nature deep into the experience, even with our gardens and homes. And I think that really makes it an experience that really talks to people on a heart level.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how many people return here for stays. We'll have some people that have been here every year for their anniversary for the last 6, 7 years, you know. And so people come here for special occasions, birthdays, anniversaries. We recently hosted a family for over Thanksgiving. They booked 2 spaces and their connection was the yurt. The daughter had stayed here. This was her 3rd time. She brought her parents. Now her parents are returning again. We feel grateful and honored that we have the privilege to host people and that they have a positive experience and want to come back. They're helping widen the circle of people that are connected to this place.
I love that. It's the place to go for nourishment and warmth. That's the whole vibe you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think part of how we engage with and care for the land has prompted the way that we approach hospitality. I don't think early on in the early years of me being here, I've been here for almost 12 years now, saw that we would be running a hospitality business. But speaking with a friend of mine about how in a lot of ways it makes sense because taking good care of this land has been a big part of our roles as farmers and stewards, and that is easily transferred into how we care for our guests. There's a lot of heart there for this land, our family, and our guests.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially the way you talked about like initially. There's been a lot of thought and intention that has gone into bringing back this land to what it was, the way you found it, and then you nurtured it back. So you're continuing with that feeling of nurturing and nourishment, which spills over to your hosting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything that you would like your guests to know before they come to stay with you, or anything they should remember to bring with them when they pack their bags?
I would say they should come just with knowing that we can offer a fairly personalized experience if they reach out and want to explore in a certain way. They just need to reach out and try to contact us, and we can start to plan, have some food prepared for them in meals. A lot of times we help people figure out what hikes to do or where to explore. It helps make for a personalized stay for them.
Sure, that's right. We also like to personalize things too if people are here for a special occasion. It's just simple little touches. If we know someone's coming for a birthday, I like to leave a little sign that tells them happy birthday, just to recognize that. And we don't always know, but of course, like we'll offer congratulations. We've had people here who've gotten engaged before.
But you've also left flowers from the garden. And
that's right,
so
yeah.
It's just nice to be able, like, I don't see us ever growing to be a large organization because we're staying true to our values, and we want to be able to offer that real authentic experience to people versus something that's a cookie cutter type experience that's been put together. So that's what we offer. I think that is another thing that makes us unique. They just need to come with a sense of wonder, curiosity, exploration, and we can help them explore our farm in this area.
That's right. And in any sort of specifics about packing, it's very seasonally oriented. I think it's always good to be prepared for all weather conditions because of life in the mountains, especially this time of year. It could be winter in the morning and the nighttime, but then springtime in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today, Ben and Megan. It's been great speaking to you. And thank you so much for telling me all about Kaluna Retreat Farms and especially the yurt that we featured in our article. I really hope that the viewers will find the information useful and reach out to you, I'm sure, with a lot of requests, because the way that you've highlighted the personalized touch and experience that you can offer, that really adds to the charm and beauty of the place that you have, that where you're hosting. So,
Oh, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We appreciate you and Trip 101 for taking the time to highlight us and our property. And we put out our invitation to anybody willing to come and have this type of experience. We're here. We're waiting for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
yeah. With that, we will sign off for today. Bye bye and have a nice day.
Yeah, you
Great.
too. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.